So it's 1:45 in the morning and I can't sleep. And I just thought I would share a little bit of a story about my friend Tina, who's been through a lot lately. And she could really, she could really use a break at some point, but, the storms just keep coming. And it started, in February when she got arrested for intoxication when she was not intoxicated. She was actually under a lot of stress because her baby had just, gone unresponsive and needed CPR. And she was in the back of an ambulance and in the hospital for several hours before she was approached by the police, where she refused a breathalyzer because she was very confused as to why they were asking her about her alcohol intake when she had been in the hospital and in the back of the ambulance for several hours. And so she refused a breathalyzer because her exact words were, "I'm not drunk, I am traumatized. I don't understand why I need to do a breathalyzer. That's not something that I'm really I'm not worried about at the time. Like, my son is in the hospital and I would just like to get back to him." Well, nobody informed her that, if you don't do this breathalyzer, Tina, then you are going to go to jail. And so she ends up in jail because she refuses the breathalyzer, not knowing anything. And of course, by the time she's in handcuffs, she's well aware from watching, a lot of cops that you just don't resist. You don't resist anything. You don't ask questions. You just shut your mouth. So that's what Tina did. She shut her mouth and she went to jail, not knowing the condition of her son at that point. Anyways, fast forward to, she didn't think that she needed to hire an attorney because Tina was not intoxicated. Tina was having a mental breakdown, as most mothers would if they were in the situation where their child just needed CPR. And so she ends up getting this public defender who was court appointed because she did not want to hire somebody. And she quickly finds out that public defenders, they just really don't care. At least this one didn't in particular, because this one didn't inform her that even though she had to have a breathalyzer that was, not for her car because, she didn't have a vehicle at the time. And so she questioned, well, if I can't drive and my license is suspended and my car is, I don't have a car, then why do I need a breathalyzer? Tina asked. And he said, because it's court ordered and you just need to get one. So she had a home unit that was at her house, and it said on the agreement that she had to blow into this breathalyzer 3 times a day. Well, it didn't specify that she had certain times, and this is where the public defender didn't tell her this. And so she was like, well, I'm just going to blow into it whenever I want, like 3 times a day. I can just do it morning. I can do it noon. I can do it night. I can even wake up in the middle of the night and blow onto it just to let them know, hey, Tina's not drinking alcohol. There was 67 missed blows at Tina's next hearing or next visit in front of the judge. And that same day, that public defender decided that he wanted to withdraw from Tina's case. He was withdrawing from Tina's case because Tina's case was too much for him, and he had other very important cases he had to deal with. He didn't have time for Tina. So Tina was very upset with him, and she said, this is my livelihood that we're dealing with. I don't care how many cases you have. Like, you don't get to discard my case just because you have too many other ones on your hand. And he took that as, well, I'm just going to feed you to the wolves then, because the same day that he withdrew from Tina's case, Tina got thrown back in jail. Yeah, she got thrown back in jail because she refused to blow into the breathalyzer at specific times that the judge had appointed those times, but her public defender did not tell her. And so when she showed up and had all of these missed blows, even though there were 3 of them per day at, 0.00, there was no alcohol in her system, she still got thrown in jail. And her bond was raised from $5,000 to $15,000. Tina was very, very confused, to say the least. She's behind bars again, And she's like, what the heck? I followed all the rules. I haven't had any alcohol. I haven't been driving a car. How do I end up back behind bars when I haven't had any of this? I don't understand. So she goes back to jail. Thankfully, Tina's dad was there with her in court and he bailed her out right away. What a blessing her dad was. So she gets out and she is just, then she decides, okay, now it's time for me to hire a public defender because she's like, this is nonsense, absolute nonsense. How did I get thrown back in jail when I'm not even breaking any rules? Like no warnings on this. Like she had been blowing into this breathalyzer for 2 months at that point, and nobody said anything to her until her public defender decides that he wants to run away from her and, withdraw from her case. And then she ends up in jail. What in the world just is going on? Like, how is that even possible? My poor friend Tina is like just traumatized. She ends up in the hospital multiple times after this because she has serious anxiety because now she doesn't know when the next time is that she's going to get thrown in jail because now she's been put in jail twice. 2 times she was thrown in jail for something she didn't even do. Like nothing, she didn't do anything wrong. She was literally in survival mode and she got thrown in jail 2 times. So Tina decides that she's going to hire an attorney, and the attorney that she hires is a great attorney. However, Tina already has, gotten on the bad side of this judge because Tina, she had 67 missed blows. When you have 67 missed blows, apparently that's jail worthy. And so Tina just doesn't know. She's walking on eggshells trying to figure out what she's doing wrong and if she's going to, if she's even allowed to breathe. Because if you breathe, and maybe you're intoxicated, by the air from the engine from the train that's in front of you and you seem like you're a little disoriented, you could get arrested. I don't know. Like, that's just how crazy this whole story seems to me about my friend Tina. And so Tina ends up having a lot of struggles over the next couple of weeks after her second arrest. And she is just, kind of spiraling and just not really knowing what to do. And so fast forward down, the road a while, and Tina ends up getting her kids, her babies taken away from her because let's talk about Al for a minute. Al is a man who, he's not even part of Tina's life really. Like, he's just like this man that was like in his life through another person. And he thought it would be a genius move to hire an attorney to get 2 babies taken away from their mother, who is been the one to take care of them like 100% of their time. And because Tina had this DWI charge and this, this breathalyzer that she had to use, and she didn't have an attorney for the custody battle that she was brought into by this man who, Al, he just like, who the heck are you, Al? Like, why are you imposing yourself into this woman's life, taking her children away from her? And like, you don't even speak to your own children. Like, this man, Al, literally hired an attorney to tell lies about the mother. And I'm sorry, but I know a lot of women who have had DWIs and like legit DWIs, like they really were drinking and driving, and they still don't get their kids taken away.